This is the Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, on Alternative Talk, AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage and finance expert, Tina Mitchell.
Welcome back to the Money Hour with your host and mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell, right here on 1150 AM KKNW, the August 15th. Course, the Saturday show. I bring into studio each week the best of the best experts in our local market on everything regarding your money, and I'm here to help you in today's economy. If you're hearing my show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast, but you can call into the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com if you want to connect and ask my guests any questions that are in studio. And right now I'm going to be talking with Ian Tolmie with Caring Transitions Seattle, senior relocation and how to help the seniors and their families in their transition. And Ian, I've had you in studio quite a few times. I know you have a passion in this arena and helping our seniors, and it's always nice to bring you into studio and to get your wealth of information and really helping through that transition. So thank you for coming back.
Hey, thanks for having me, Tina. I always enjoy being here.
And a little background about Ian. Ian and Jennifer are owners of Caring Transitions Seattle. They are both passionate about caring for seniors, and Caring Transitions Seattle is a direct result of that passion. As partners, Jennifer and Ian opened Caring Transitions Seattle as a result of their own families going through emotional stress and helping their own parents transition from large homes where they have lived for decades to much smaller residents. Jennifer has 7 years experience as a licensed real estate agent in the Seattle area, and Ian is a certified aging in place specialist. Together with their goal to assist families in downsizing and liquidation of decades worth of assets, preparing a family residence for sale, and creating a smooth transition into their new living space. So Ian, I wanted to start out with what's new in Caring Transitions Seattle since the last time we talked.
Yeah, I think when the last time I was here, we had actually just opened a new office in the South Sound. We're actually looking at expanding onto the east side.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You guys are growing quickly.
Yeah, it is. It's growing quite quickly. And it's something that the east side, we're getting a lot of requests over here. So we're looking at expanding onto the east side. And it's also something that we're looking at some of the metrics that support our business and just the growth that we've seen. The total revenue through our auction sites is up about 30% over last year, year to date. So significant. We've got about 62,000 regular bidders through all of Caring Transitions Network. That's nationwide. And these are people who purchase from us on a regular basis, and about 192,000 views per month. So it's something that we're seeing the growth and the comfort level of people shopping online, dealers, people who are regular purchasers, continuing to grow. And it's in significant growth.
Yes.
And so it's the type of thing that it's exciting because it gives us that broader reach when we're trying to help market someone's assets. And so we can do it through so many different ways. And this is just one additional channel that we're seeing more and more growth in.
Awesome. And, being a software owner myself and CEO of Mortgage Triangle Software, there's a little shout out for my mortgage software. For you mortgage professionals listening to the show, last time that we talked, you were actually in beta for your auction software. So how's that coming along?
It's coming along just great. Actually, we're still in beta. We're making some changes.
I was in beta for 2 years.
It's going to be about, I think, a 6-month process. We're actually scheduled to launch the new website in December. So that we're hoping to get it launched pre-2016. But it's something that's one exciting component of the software. The other piece is really being able to significantly reduce the time it takes for us to get a sale online. And a lot of that is the collection of all the data, the assets. And so the collection of the imagery, the descriptions, the categorization of all of someone's home's assets. And so we've actually developed some app tools that are available to our sales force to be able to go out and really streamline the process, literally taking it from what used to take days if you were taking it with a conventional camera and then typing it all in to really shortening that to hours or a half day or so for hundreds and hundreds of lots that may go into an auction. So,
yeah, technology is definitely exciting. And Ian, my listeners, especially on from radio versus TV, really connecting on a story level. Can you share, because you always have some fun, interesting stories. Can you share one with my listeners today?
Yeah, we're right in the middle of one right now, and it's really kind of fun because we had one of our partners actually bought a room in a house. This was his father was a pawn shop owner for 30 years, and so he came across hundreds of thousands of interesting pieces, and he died, and his son wanted to just get rid of everything, and so his son auctioned off room by room the entire house. And one of our partners actually bought a room for $5,000.
Really?
And we got in there. And
that seems like a good deal.
It's a huge deal. we found $5,000 worth of gold just in the room itself. And right there, that's cash. That paid for everything right there. We've found wonderful Curtis Prince originals. We found Lindbergh autograph prints. We've found it's gone going. We've got tens of thousands of vintage postcards, memorabilia from cycling, from Seafair, from all sorts of things.
You need to have a TV show.
It's pretty cool. It really is. And it's one of these things that's been fascinating. Our partner picked it up for next to nothing, and it'll be it could be a $40,000-$50,000 sale when actually you break it all down, and we're doing it in specific lots and categories. So that's a really fun one, and will be ongoing for the next few months because it's so big. Yeah.
Wow. And Ian, what about some trends that you can share with my listeners as far as downsizing? What are you seeing?
One of the things that's really kind of interesting that we're seeing more and more of right now is multiple downsizes. And so it's something that, a couple may go from a very large house that they're very comfortable in, may have been in for many, many, many years, and they will downsize usually via an estate sale and an online auction or a combination, and then they'll go into an assisted living facility or maybe a condo or a townhome. And usually they take with them the assets that are most important to them and usually most valuable as well. And what we're seeing is more and more of them going through a second downsizing before they go into maybe an assisted living caring facility, that sort of thing.
Okay.
So we're seeing kind of the front end being estate sales, physical sales, plus auctions. And then the back end is usually a little bit more auction friendly because it's in a condo complex, a townhomes, or it's higher valued assets that we're trying to sell for the family. So it's an interesting transition that we're seeing these multiple levels of downsizing now.
Wow. Yeah. And your company's been around for a few years, and how has it evolved?
It's really something I think that you mentioned the technology, and that's a very obvious one. And it's something that just the growth in the industry, with the aging of America and what's happening, we're seeing more and more couples and families go through this. And it's something that the families being involved and also separated somehow by geography frequently. And so like I am with my family, my parents were back in North Carolina. And it's something being able to try and manage a sale when I'm all the way here in Seattle and I have a sister in Nashville and a sister in Atlanta, that's a real challenge. Yes. And we're seeing more and more of that as the families are separated and they're not living in the same cities. And therefore, the children can't support the parents maybe like they used to be able to. And so, those are trends that we're seeing continue to develop.
Got it. And Ian, you kind of said it's common with technology, and obviously things are changing. The unfortunate thing is a lot of companies are not keeping up with technology in your arena and every other arena. So that is something that's different and something that you can be very proud of with what you're doing. What else is unique and different about your company versus your so-called competitors out there?
Well, we really try and market ourselves to a family to offer a holistic solution, and that begins with consultation, and we go to every single consult, and it's because you never really know what you're going to get into and what you're going to find and how you can help. And then we have clean out services, we have auction services, we have move management services, and we even have planning services. So if someone's going into a much smaller physical location, whether it be an assisted living or a condo or whatever it might be, knowing what assets we can take and not having to move them twice. Because frequently, families will get into they'll pack everything up and they'll try and move everything in. And you can't get the couches to fit and the chair. And so we try and really figure that out before going through the first move and then taking the important things to the new home and getting rid of the, unloading the rest of the stuff, the assets, and frequently returning money back to the family. So
nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, if I had somebody that's listening that's getting ready to go through the transition process and relocation, and they're wondering why they would hire a company to do this for them versus taking it on themselves, what do you tell your clients that are asking that?
That's a great question. It's also a frequent question. Yes. And it's something that what we frequently find is the most valuable asset in most families is the home itself, the residence. And if you look at, even if it's a townhome or assisted living or whatever it might be, the rents and the mortgages associated with, month to month to month, maintaining that property is frequently excessive. In assisted living facilities, it can be, $6,000 to $10,000 a month. Whereas the assets that may be, living in that home as well that you need to unload frequently don't add up to that much. So you don't want to keep all of these assets in a home hoping to unload them and not being able to while you're paying a mortgage every single or a rent every single month. And so that's one big thing. But then also frequently those assets we can unload quite quickly, and we have a lot more channels and a lot better marketing than individuals would have. So it really is something that we can help a family get through that much more quickly. And time is money.
Yes.
And that's frequently why real estate agents love us, because we get the house ready for market.
Yeah. And time is money, which is really important, and especially in this market right now. I mean, it's, there's a lot of different things and changes that are happening out there. So,
No
Ian,
question.
what's another way that your company is able to, that you're saving your clients money?
Well, really doing the research. And so people frequently don't know the value of what they have. And so it's oftentimes they think they kind of know this may be, one certain print that may be worth a lot of money. It may not be an original. It may, there may be a lot of issues with it. And we have a lot of experts available to us. We're experts in many ways, but when we're not, we have people that we can communicate with, talk with, and ask questions of. And therefore really identify what are the most valuable assets in a sale, and how do we market them best? Are they best to go through a physical estate sale, which frequently that's very good for furniture and large assets. We also find that we have a sale that was going on with tons of costume jewelry, boxes of it. And it really is something that doesn't sell well in an estate sale at all. But you get it online, and there's a huge market for it, and you market it properly, and you can make thousands. And so it's the type of thing that
the difference between being online versus being at a
and having the flexibility of taking it one way or the other, depending on what the asset is you're trying to sell. And so it's really something that there are a lot of people out there that will buy these types of assets online. And what we find is in an auction format, the price goes up. If you're at an estate sale, they bid you down.
Yeah.
And so they make wheel and deal in estate sale. And so estate sales are like, hey, I'll give you $50 for the whole box.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're in an online auction, you get $1,000 for the box because you sell them as individual items.
Wow.
Yeah.
And just like anything else that I bring in, and that's why I'm so passionate about the show and just bringing in experts in all areas, because it's the same. Doesn't matter if we're talking mortgage, CPA, financial planner, whether it's transition and getting the professional, it's having the professional help that has the knowledge, the expertise, and the passion behind continuing to make that process the best way at the least expensive way.
Yeah.
So what about some challenges that you have in helping seniors transition and in the relocation process? What are some challenges that come up for you?
Frequently, I mentioned this in our last show, I think it's the emotional connection. And frequently the reason people
and
are
that's
going...
with anybody. We're emotional about everything, regardless if we're seniors or
exactly.
not.
And frequently the reason people are moving is because there's been some sort of an event. Someone's been hospitalized, someone may have passed away, someone just isn't, can't responding well enough in their home environment and need to be moved into an assisted living facility, these sorts of things. And so being sensitive to that as business owners and understanding what these families are actually going through is extremely important for us to be able to make sure that we're not desensitized ever by this. And Jennifer and I have both gone through this, and our parents have downsized in different times and for different reasons. My mom now is looking at her second downsizing. And so it's something that just really understanding, why it is that we're going through this, why our customers are going through this, and making sure that we're doing the right thing for them.
Yeah. So outside of not hiring a company, a professional to take care of this and help them, what other most common mistake do you see being made during this transition process?
When families try and do it themselves, and frequently what it does is it drags it out. And sometimes it causes friction. So siblings can get in arguments and fights about certain things, and one person wants to do it one way, one person wants to do it another way. They don't always meet in the middle, and so it can cause friction within the family. And it's much easier sometimes to let us do it. We'll get more money for everybody's assets, and therefore return more money to the family.
And that's a great point, Ian. It's just really getting the emotional piece out of it from the family and the siblings that, just like you said, everybody's not going to be bringing the same thing, and bringing somebody neutral and a professional to take care of it, and you don't have to worry about it. So how are most of your clients getting a hold of you? How can my listeners reach you?
Well, absolutely. They can find us through our website at caringtransitionsseattle.com, which is a great one. Frequently we find more and more of our business is coming from referrals, and it's wonderful. And again, I mentioned real estate agents, so we get a lot of referrals from real estate agents and repeat business from real estate agents.
Yes.
And now we're seeing more and more repeat business from people who we've moved already. And so, like I mentioned, families are going through multiple downsizing events, and we're seeing them downsize once, and we may put them into an apartment, townhouse, or a condo, and then we may be moving them again. But the nice thing is that things went well the first time, they're coming back to us and they're using us again for that second move, that second downsize, because it went well the first time. So they realize the advantage of doing it.
So Ian, you mentioned real estate professionals, because I think there is a lot of people, professionals that actually, don't have all the information that they need to make the best choices because that's not their arena. Do you go out and speak at real estate company offices?
We do.
Do presentations? So if you're listening, you're a realtor, and really to be able to provide your clients the best service, as you know, listening, it's really about putting that quality team together. And if you are, some realtors are not working with seniors on a regular basis, and they're coming and going, which they don't have their team together.
Yeah.
I've got a resource and one of the best in helping in the transition to really save your family's money, save them time, and save on that emotional stress. So Ian, thank you so much for coming back in studio. It's always a pleasure to chat with you, and I appreciate your information that you share with my listeners.
Thank you, Tina. Always a pleasure to be here.
Coming up next on the Money Hour, increase your home's value and curb appeal with an alternative to concrete replacement. Save time, money, and better for our environment. Patrick Hayes and Shannon Dodge with Superior Slab Jacking right here at 1150 AM, KKNW after the short break.